All right, post-spring rankings are out, and there's a lot I disagree with. I'm not going to bore you here and put a 30-minute video on the 4 or 5 teams I think that are overrated and the 3 or 4 that are underrated. Let's keep it short and sweet and simple. I want to give you right now the most overrated and underrated team coming out of spring football. Let's dive into it. The most overrated team coming out of spring, it's actually the defending champs. It's Ohio State. And before you look at this video, look what I'm wearing I'm wearing a Penn State sweatshirt and call me a homer. Ryan, you're jealous, you're biased, you're a hater. Especially if you're new to the channel, you're about to learn something really fast here. We only deal in facts. I'm not going to allow my Penn State fandom to influence my decision-making because we keep it real. I want to earn your respect. I'm not going to be biased here and just be a Penn State hater because you're not going to come back. I want you to come back here. I want to have a fun college football discussion each and every day, each and every week leading up to the season. So hear me out. Before you jump down my throat, let me explain why. When I look at Ohio State in all different post-spring rankings that I've seen them at 3, I've seen them at 5, I've seen them at 4, hell, I've seen them at 1. Here's where I would put them. I would put them at 8 or 9, even 10. I think they're a bottom half of the top 10 team. That's why I call them overrated. And the biggest reason is I have too many questions right now about Ohio State's roster going into 2025 to sit here and call them a top 5 team when there are plenty of other teams right now in college football that have much more experienced rosters, that have produced a lot more, that play at a high level, that are just, I think, frankly, right now, I trust more than the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes have to prove it in 2025, despite winning it in 2024, because everyone playing for Ohio State, for the most part, is inexperienced and unproven. And look what they have to replace. They got to replace their quarterback, Julian Sands, coming in to replace Will Howard. You got to replace 2 really good running backs in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Jeremiah Smith, best receiver in college football, is back, but you lose Emeka Buka, who is a super reliable receiver for the Buckeyes, really the 1A to Jeremiah Smith's 1. A majority of your offensive line is gone. And defensively, on the other side of the ball, 8 of 11 starters are gone, including the entire defensive line, which I would argue, you look back at the college football playoff run the Buckeyes made, that was spearheaded and started by their defensive line. Jack Sawyer, JTT, those guys were dominant. In every game, they set the tone. So you have all these questions for Ohio State right now. Plus, not to mention, you also have to replace both coordinators. Chip Kelly gone, Jim Knowles gone. There's just too much uncertainty right now for me to call Ohio State and agree with a lot of people putting Ohio State as a top 5 team going into 2025. They are the defending champions, absolutely. But I'm not giving this team credit when a majority of the guys that led Ohio State to the title are no longer there. I just told you everything they lost and everything they have to replace. A lot of premium positions and a lot of key elite players are no longer there. So can I sit here and believe that Matt Patricia can coach a defense the way Jim Knowles did? I have no idea. I can't sit here and tell you that. That's disingenuous to believe he absolutely can. We don't know. So I don't think Ohio State deserves the benefit of the doubt going into 2025 in terms of being a top 5 team. Winning the title last year does not mean you automatically become a top 5 team the next year. So much that production is lost, and the guys making it up, we don't know about. We don't know about. So they have Caleb Downs back, stud. Jeremiah Smith back, stud. Everywhere else, gigantic question marks. Again, I'm not disrespecting Ohio State. I still have them in the top 10. But I'm looking at them more in that 9-10 range, not that 3 or 4 range. That's why I think Ohio State coming out of spring is the most overrated team in the country. Now, on the flip side, the most underrated team, the team that's not getting, I think, the respect they deserve, is Arizona State. You look at a lot of these rankings I'm looking at here, they are 13th, 15th, 16th, right in that middle teen range. I think they're a top 10 team. And I know maybe if you doubt that or think that's crazy, the thing you're going to look at and probably assume first and foremost is, okay, well, they lost Cam Skadabu, who's the heart and soul of their team last year. And now that he's gone to the NFL, well, they're clearly going to take a step back because you can't replace his production and his leadership. But the thing is, while he is gone and he was the face of that program, there is so much talent, so much production left that I think Arizona State's getting slept on. Start their quarterback, Sam Levitt. Go back on this channel, especially if you're visiting for the first time. Last week I did a top 10 quarterback ranking of 2025, but I did the ranking not going into the season, but fast forwarding through the season and say, okay, now that 2025 is over, who are the best quarterbacks? I think Sam Levin's going to be a top 5 quarterback in 2025. I'm a big believer in him. He's mobile. He's got a good arm. He's accurate, good decision maker. He only had 6 interceptions last year, so he's smart with the football. He's a playmaker. And while him and Scadaboo worked really well off each other, now that Cam is no longer there, more is going to be on the plate of Sam. I think that's fine. I have no doubts about Sam Levin now elevating this offense without Cam Scadaboo there. A big help and a big reason why I believe in him is because his number one receiver, Jordan Tyson's back. And remember, last year in the cultural playoff against Texas, Jordan Tyson was not available. He was injured. Now he's back healthy. He was really good last year. I don't see why that changes this year. And we look a lot on the offense, right? Quarterbacks, receivers coming back. Don't sleep on this defense. They returned Arizona State 10 starters from a unit last year that was third in scoring defense and first in rushing defense in the Big 12. This defense is good. Defense still matters in college football in 2025. They have a lot of experience coming back, a lot of production coming back. This team's getting slept on because they are more than just a running back. Kenny Dillingham's doing a great job at acquiring talent, at retaining talent. This team's going nowhere. You know, last year was not a flash in the pan. Last year was not just a Cinderella story and, oh, that was fun. That was cute. They pushed Texas. So cool. But now they're going to kind of go back to the bottom of the Big 12. This team's here to stay. I think they're winning the Big 12. I think they're right back on the cultural playoff mix. They're going to be a bitch to get out. This team is good. There's a real culture. There's leadership. There's talent. This team, ranking them 13th, 15th, is flat out disrespectful. They're a top 10 team going to 2025. So Arizona State, I think, is the most underrated team coming out of spring. I think Ohio State's the most overrated team coming out of spring. If you disagree, get my mentions. Come on, type in there. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm an idiot. Tell me why I'm biased. I don't know ball. Let's hear it. I can take it. We'll go back and forth and maybe have a spirited / civil discussion on which teams are the most overrated, which teams are the most underrated coming to spring ball. But please get my mentions because I will go back and forth here because I want to have a discussion. I want to make this a two-way street. Comments are the best way to do so. While you're here, would really appreciate also if you subscribe to the channel. If you love college football content, we got a lot coming your way. Again, between now and Labor Day weekend, and then plus once the season starts, forget it. A lot of college football content coming your way. I know you have a lot of choices. Would really appreciate it if you made us and put us in your mix here as well.